Sorry, good afternoon to everyone. Thank you, sir, for introducing me. Post-lunch sessions are heavy. All right, quickly settle down. All right. About the nutraceuticals, and I think you had, I don't know whether anything was kept of the nutraceuticals in your lunch. Okay, that's good. I thought that I will be offered water which is, no, not only just natural, but I thought that I will have some nutritional water. Because water now it has become actually, it has already well established. So water is no longer a new thing now. The next new thing which will come actually will be nutritional water. Already it is there in the market, and more so will come, and maybe I think next couple of years, water will get replaced actually with the nutritional water. That is a trend. All right. I come from an institute called Institute of Chemical Technology, and the nutraceutical, of course, is a field which is fast catching it up, or rather it has already been well established now. Anything which cannot be put into the pharmacy or into the medicine can be put into the nutraceuticals very conveniently. Am I right? Or rather, I'll put it another way actually, whether the nutraceutical has grown up at the cost of the Ayurveda. Is it true? Is it true the nutraceutical, at least in our country, it has developed at the cost of the Ayurveda? Because the Ayurveda remained very closed. They did not allow to develop further. They did not accept the new thing in that, and with the result, people wanted to make use of the new things which were useful, and with the result, the new thing has come, FSSAI. Correct? That is actually the Food Safety Standards Authority of India, and they have come out actually and they opened up. Today, anything which cannot be put under the Ayurveda, you can conveniently put in facade, and you can easily get license and start the business. In a way, it is good that at least today we have outlet actually. I'll put it actually the government controlled outlet by which all these raw herbs or the nutraceutical items can be put into the market, and accordingly number of companies have come forward, and today I think that is the field which is doing with a hectic activity there, be it confectionery, be it water or the juices. A lot of things have cropped in the recent past, and trend is more towards preventive than curative. That is what the nutraceutical is all about. Okay. Earlier we used to go to the doctors. In fact, I remember in my generation, whenever we used to fall sick, 3 days at home. Try. Nothing works, then reluctantly 4th day we used to go to the physician. Okay, today I don't think it is. The moment people turn 45, people start taking the measures. Whenever I go to the hotel and ask for the cup of tea, the next question, immediate question which is asked about me is that, sir, with sugar or without sugar? And I get irritated. I still can have a sugar without any problem. But then that is the trend. Okay, and with the result, now today it has become more preventive than the curative. And another important aspect which has led to this actually is this. Am I right? Yes. This is now, the pocket is good. And with the result today we have become fancy. Correct me if I am wrong. Okay, all right. I think we have become fancy today. And most of the current health problems are not disease, but those are disorders, lifestyle disorders. I remember we used to walk and go to the school. Today I see actually in front of any school, the road remains jammed. The children don't even walk for 100 feet. The parent drop them at the gate. From the gate they get inside, they come out, get into the car. Okay, in the races, they go to the, right in front there will be a hotel, they will have a nice pav bhaji. And after 3-4 days, you will find them, they become obese. Okay, obesity is fast catching up, which was not the problem. Malnourished country, we had actually, till I remember till 1960s, 70s, we were not self-sufficient in the food. That time obesity wasn't even, thought of it, or it was not heard the word. But today it has become actually important. Bombay, you see actually a lot of people, even the media covers actually the anti-obesity treatment and all that which has come. So this is the status which is going on currently. Let's get into the nutraceutical now. Can I have first slide please? Slide please. All right, nutraceuticals, hybrid of nutrition and the pharmaceuticals. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is a hybrid, more than food but less than pharmaceutical. As I told you in the beginning, something which you cannot put it actually in the pharmaceutical, it can be conveniently put into the nutraceuticals. And something you can make out from that, because everything has some of the other aspects, some of the other activity associated with that, so it is convenient to put it into the nutraceuticals. Tomato we were eating for a long time without any problem, even when the nutraceutical was not born. Okay, but then today, lycopene is a nutraceutical. Look at what has happened. Lycopene is a nutraceutical now today. Next slide, please. All right, when we talk about the nutraceuticals, which are the sector now currently has been targeted? Probiotic, I mean, curd is something which was an integral part of our food. So I don't think, probiotic was new to us. But when the antibiotics started actually, then people assumed actually the antibiotics cannot distinguish between the good flora and the bad flora. And then the probiotics have started. But probiotics was an integral part of our food, so I don't think it is anything new. Well, they have put some more bacterial stain in that and improved the thing. But yes, probiotic is something which is now extensively popular. Proteins. Earlier only soya protein was something which was heard about it. Okay, today of course we have a lot of proteins from the pulses. We have pisum, that is actually peanut. Sorry, not peanut. I'm sorry, pea. Pea protein has become very popular now. Okay, whey protein of course was protein, very popular with the athlete and with the bodybuilders. But now even the other proteins have become now slowly gaining a lot of importance. Amino acids. Some of the amino acids are already been put actually. They normally we pursue them as a precursor for formation of some important a peptide, and then of course lead to the muscle formation. Phytochemicals and the plant extract, I'll be talking about it for a long time actually, because that is my field which I am catering for a long time. Fibers, isabgol we have taught to the undergraduate. Isabgol, today we are having something else like fructooligosaccharide, or I have put the inulin. This is inulin, which is, I think if you are from the South India or the Karnataka, I think it's the part of the coffee. Chicory is very much actually a part of the coffee there. And chicory is rich in inulin. Okay. Vitamins. I think I have put A2 ghee here. A2 ghee contains provitamin. It is rich in the beta carotene. Okay. We have Bos taurus and the Bos indicus. Gir guy is Bos indicus. Okay. And Bos taurus is some Jersey guy which has come actually from the UK. And in general, cow ghee is rich in the beta carotene. Now we are undertaking one experiment actually. What we are doing it in Vapi, we are going one project which is going on. We are feeding the cow, mainly the gir guy, and we are feeding with the additional amount of beta carotene. And we are seeing the increase in the beta carotene content in the ghee, milk, and accordingly into the ghee. So we are trying to give ghee which is fortified with the provitamin A. And we are trying for the other constituent as well, other vitamin as well. Something which can be addressed to the milk. So it is not directly, but it is via animal, it has been directed. Prebiotic, fructooligosaccharide, inulin, those are the constituents. Carotenoid, as I told you, beta carotene is the one. Lutein is another one which has become popular. Lycopene. Omega-3 fatty acid, for a long time we had a fish oil. And we have a sector in the society which is vegetarian. So there was a problem how to manage this particular requirement actually from the vegetarian source. And currently now we have a algal oil coming actually from the algae, cyanobacteria, and that is rich in the EPA, that is eicosapentaenoic acid and docosahexaenoic acid. Now the algal oil currently which is available in the market, that contains almost 35% of EPA. Next important thing actually which is from the vegetarian source is linseed oil. However, linseed oil has some problem actually, and plus it is used elsewhere more economically. So with the research actually, I'm sorry, linseed oil is something which is not very popular, but now for the vegetarian source, algal oil has become very popular now. Though right now, at this moment, it is pretty expensive, but I'm sure more people get into the cultivation of this algae, I think the price will get standardized. Omega-3, that is about, then of course about the minerals. Minerals are another thing. Calcium is something, mixture of calcium, magnesium, zinc, those are very popular. And this has been regularly been given actually to the children, those who are in the growing age, and at the same time now it has been also been targeted for the elderly people. Can I have the next slide, please? Alright. In what form this nutraceuticals are used? Now we have a food, I have put actually the chapati here. So this is cyanobacteria, which is a blue cyanobacteria, and that is giving the blue color besides spirulina. So now this is a blue spirulina. Earlier green spirulina became very popular. Now we have a blue spirulina which is coming into the market, and this is what has been pancake and all that has been already been incorporated into it. Okay, so that is about the food. Then we have beverages. Beverages is one sector which finds it no easy application because nobody resists something to be drink. Okay, so there are a lot of nutraceuticals today people are trying to offer it through beverages. Personal care product, well, collagen and all that, those are personal care product. Animal nutrition is also now, nutraceutical is also catching it up with animal nutrition, especially with the pet. Dietary supplement or something which is another sector. So these are the various forms in which nutraceuticals or the functional foods have been offered. Next slide, please. Alright, which are the sectors which have been catered by the nutraceutical? Currently, the market trend, what has been? So by health benefit, if you look at by the health benefit, cognitive health, this is what most of the mothers are worried about their children. They want their children to be like a Vishwanathan. Okay, Vishwanathan Anand, everybody wants, I don't know how many of you know, but then Vishwanathan Anand was associated with promotion of one product which was marketed by the CDRI, Memory Plus, that was their product. And they marketed through Vishwanathan Anand because Vishwanathan Anand is associated with chess. Alright, so cognitive health, that is one product. Actually, a lot of herbals have already been incorporated. Shankar-Pushpi is something which is quite well established now. And there are a lot of products of the Shankar-Pushpi which are there in the market actually, which are targeted for the children, especially the 10th standard. Gut health. Another sector which people are targeting is the gut health, and I am sure all of you must have seen the ad of Anil Kapoor. Sure. I think I need not go further into that. Alright. Heart health, another problem which is catching it up actually to the youngsters. Other day I think Satish Kaushik. Okay, he had a massive heart attack and died immediately. So heart health is something which people are now targeting, and there are quite a few herbs actually which have been, and we have Indian drugs, a lot of Indian medicinal plants which are there actually, which have been used as nutraceutical product. Then bone health, another sector actually which is more related to the women. Bone health is a problem which is associated with the women, and soya isoflavone, undergraduate dietary and the genistein. These are the two soya isoflavones which have become very, very popular. Besides isoflavone, any other? Phytoestrogen. Phytoestrogen is a topic actually which has been covered extensively, and it comprises of, besides soya isoflavone, it also comprises of lignan. And the major lignan which has been used actually for estrogenic activity is SDG, secoisoadditional diglycoside. Okay? So that is actually, excuse me. And currently the soya is extensively used. About dietary and the genistein, these are the two isoflavones which are present in the soya, and that has been targeted actually as estrogenic. They are the biggest advantage that they are estrogenic, but they are free from rather side effect of the steroids. They are not steroid. They are having only the steroidal effect. Though their activity is much more or less as compared to the estradiol or the other steroids, but they don't have any side effect as that of steroids. And with the result actually phytoestrogen is something which is fast catching it up. In the Europe they have even the health bar in the form of a chocolate. Then we have immunity is a sector which has, I think the COVID we have seen, Tinospora. Tinospora became very, very popular. I have my own question mark whether what it does, but yes. Tinospora caudifoliae became very popular during that period, actually COVID period. Those who have taken, I did not take any Tinospora, I am here today. But yes, Tinospora has been extensively used during that period, and Ashwagandha, these are the two plant materials which were extensively used. Likewise in Western world, we have ginseng, which is also used actually for the immunity boosters. Weight management, right? I began with that actually. The weight management is a major problem today. Lifestyle problem, and eatables have changed drastically. What we were traditionally eating it, today we have changed. We have moved actually from chapati and rice to burger and pizza. And to some extent that is taking a toll in this sector, and the weight management is becoming a problem now today. And once of course, lifestyle and plus the eatable, both this thing together, it has led actually to the problem of obesity, which wasn't a problem in India, but now it has become a problem. And then once we catch with the obesity, then of course it leads to the other problem. Next slide, please. All right, so that was about a different nutraceutical product and the sectors which were having the nutraceutical product. Now I will be switching it over to the something which has been obtained from the plant source. Nutraceutical ingredient, well, the term is new, otherwise we call it with the different terms like phytochemicals, phytoconstituents, and quite a few of them actually are having the overlapping activity. They can be a drug also, and they can be a nutraceutical product as well. Next slide, please. Well, these are some of the products of the Indian origin which has become popular as a nutraceutical. They have not become a drug till today. They are still remaining as a nutraceutical product or as a functional food or a food supplement. Whether it is curcuminate, we are the largest exporter of the curcuminate in the world. Okay, I don't know how many of you know, we have turmeric which is growing in Maharashtra, major cultivator. Thereafter Tamil Nadu is another cultivator, and then the new turmeric which has cropped up in the market called the Laddha turmeric. Okay, and that contains a very high percentage of curcuminate to the extent of 10%. However, that is not suitable for the extraction purpose. Sometimes the psyche is very important. Though it contains 10%, but still it is not been used actually, and nobody is ready to use that actually for the extraction purpose. Though only 95% extract is the one which is useful as a nutraceutical product, and you can get it actually, the extraction cost will be much more less for the Laddha turmeric because it contains 10% curcuminate as against Sangli turmeric which contains 6%, 5 to 6%. But then the problem associated with the Laddha turmeric is that the color is not smart. Major problem. Okay, so besides our health, we are also very cautious about the color of it. We need to have a smart. Okay, so Laddha turmeric has not catch up so far actually for the extraction purpose. Ellagic acid, another plant material which has become popular from the Indian source. Pomegranate is the something which has been used, pomegranate rind rather, or the skin of the pomegranate fruit has been used as a ellagic tannin. It is the ellagic tannin which it contains, and that is the one which has been targeted for nutraceutical, especially for the heart purpose. In fact, there's an NRI actually who has a plant in Gujarat, and they are getting the pomegranate from Nashik, and they are using the skin of it and throwing the juice part of it. Okay, and they have a brand called Pomela. Pomela is after the pomegranate, and it is the ellagic acid or the ellagic tannin. Those are the ones which have been targeted actually as for the heart ailment. Forskolin, another Indian plant, Coleus forscola, Libative family or the Lamiaceae family, and it contains diterpene alkaloid, diterpene, and this particular compound is actually promoting the lean body mass, and that is how it has been related to the obesity. Piperine from the black pepper. There is a product in Ayurveda called Trikatu. Trikatu is a product in the Ayurveda which comprises of the black pepper, long pepper, and ginger, out of which two pepper, the major constituent of the two pepper is the piperine. And if you look at Ayurvedic product, you will find most of the Ayurvedic product as a default ingredient is either a black pepper or the long pepper. And today it has come to the light that the piperine which is present in that, it helps in improving the bioavailability of the otherwise poorly bioavailable drug. Okay, so the purpose of the piperine is not very nutraceutical, but it helps or it aids in absorption of the other constituents which are given along with it. Lycopene from tomato. This is hydroxycitric acid. Those who are from the Konkan, probably they will be knowing it actually. Hydroxycitric acid is a Radambe and Dhirambe. Garcinia indica and the Garcinia cambogia. Garcinia indica is, I think, kokum, and Radambe and Dhirambe is the Garcinia cambogia. And that contains hydroxycitric acid, and hydroxycitric acid also has the similar activity as that of forskolin, that it metabolizes the lipid or the fat, and it also helps in obesity. Next slide, please. All right. I will now slowly get into the plant-derived nutraceutical ingredient, enrichment, extraction, and the isolation. Now, many plant constituents or the enriched extracts are used in the nutraceutical. I'll just take you through some of the plant actually which we have started with it, and we have come out actually with isolated phytochemicals from that, which are used either in the nutraceutical or sometime in other industry besides health industry. Next slide, please. All right, I'll start with the forskolin study. Forskolin, Corius forscoli. This is the product which was extensively worked at one time by the Hex company, and they isolated a constituent called forskolin from that. In fact, they worked on the 1,500 plant, out of which some 3 or 4 plants showed some promising action, out of which that 3 to 4 plant, one plant was forskolin. Corius forskolin, the constituent was forskolin from that. And initially the entire work on the forskolin was targeted actually towards the heart. And ultimately they found actually it was having the good effect on the heart, but at the concentration at which it was to be used, it was having the side effect. So they have to dump that molecule. So they dumped that molecule. Later on the SAMI took up look at this. SAMI took this molecule up. They re-looked at the molecule, and since this particular molecule was found to be having the one particular mechanism that it was acting on the adenylate cyclase enzyme, which in turn improves the CNP level in the body. And it was found actually that the CNP level in the body gets reduced when you become obese. And that is how it has been targeted as an anti-obesity drug. Okay, and today forskolin, it has become actually a standard drug, actually standard constituent of nutraceutical product when it comes to the anti-obesity or getting over the obesity problem. All right, so this is about the constituent, that is forskolin. These are the roots which are cultivated both in Karnataka and Maharashtra. And this is the plant, typical labiated plant or the lamiaceae plant actually. And the root of which I think this month, April and May, even in Parla, I have seen this root of the particular plant has been sold and it's been pickled by the Gujarati community. That much I can tell you. Okay? So the roots are pickled. Next slide, please. Alright, so this is what the extraction isolation we worked on about the extraction isolation. Now, forskolin has one important property of the forskolin, that it is soluble in methanol, it is soluble in the chloroform, but it is not soluble in the petroleum ether. And because of its solubility problem, to some extent, though it is having other activity also, but it is finding it difficult to use it because of the solubility problem. For example, now it is found to be having important action against glaucoma. But since the solubility is a problem, it is not becoming actually a drug, though people are trying it a lot actually to make it actually a water soluble. But then the problem associated with it was the diterpene, which is not soluble in water. Alright, extraction, well, the root contains about 0.8 to 1% forskolin in that. And extraction technology has improved a lot over a period of time. Today we have a supercritical extraction, which is, when we talk about the extraction technology, supercritical is considered to be the latest one. But supercritical, none of the extraction process is, I'll put it actually the foolproof. Every process of the extraction has its own merit and limitation. So likewise, in this particular case, we used actually 2 extraction processes. One was supercritical because if you look at the root contains 2 sets of constituents. One is of course diterpene, forskolin, and the other one is the monoterpenoid and the sesquiterpenoid, which is in the form of the volatile oil. And whenever we used to extract actually with a solvent like ethanol or any other solvent, always monoterpene, the sesquiterpenoid will also come along with that. So that was a major problem. So ultimately we resorted to the supercritical fluid extraction. And I don't know how many of you know supercritical fluid extraction, but supercritical fluid extraction using carbon dioxide is well suited only for lipophilic constituent. Whereas if you look at this compound, it is having hydroxy group, so it is slightly a polar compound. So in that case, but monoterpenoid and the sesquiterpenoid, they were non-polar. So we initially subjected actually for the low bar pressure, that is 100 bar pressure and at 40 degree temperature, that removed most of the monoterpenoid and the sesquiterpenoid. Later on actually the pressure was increased to 350 bar pressure and N10R was added to the extent of 1 mole. That means alcohol was added along with the carbon dioxide. Then it has favored the extraction of the forskolin. But in spite of that also, we ultimately got the crude extract which was containing high percentage of the forskolin. But yes, the major problem which was solved was it was not having the monoterpenoid and the sesquiterpenoid, and then it became very easy to separate forskolin from that by the solvent fractionation. So we used to dissolve into the chloroform and then precipitated by adding petroleum mixture in that. Next slide, please. Well, this is about the effect of the forced cooling. It acts on the adenine cyclase enzyme, which in turn has many applications. Next slide, please. Another case study, magniferin. Magniferin has become now actually a nutraceutical product, it's a xanthone derivative. Magniferin is a xanthone which is present in Mangifera indica, and it is present more in the bark part of it, less in a leaf part of it. Okay, fruit by and large does not contain much of the appreciable quantity, but then bark contains very high concentration to the extent of around 3 to 6%, and that too only the internal bark contains, not the external bark contains. Okay, this is xanthone derivative, phenolic compound, and phenolic compounds are normally associated with antioxidant action, where magniferin is used as a powerful antioxidant in nutraceutical. Next slide, please. Well, this is the bark part of it. This is the magniferin, and it was extracted because xanthone derivatives or the xanthone glycosides are not soluble in water, or they are very poor soluble in the water. So it was extracted with the ethanol. That one, the extract was concentrated, and thereafter it was put into the water to precipitate the magniferin. And thereafter the magniferin was, of course, refined actually with the help of alcohol and other solvents like petroleum mixture. Next slide, please. This is just the confirmation of whatever we have extracted and isolated, whether it's magniferin or not. So these are all the confirmation spectral studies pertaining to that, which establishes that yes, whatever we extracted, that was the magniferin. Next. Confirmation of that. Next. Another important, ellagic acid, that is the beginning acid actually, that the pomegranate was used for obtaining the ellagic acid. We started with another plant material called Cheblic myrobalan, which belongs to the Cumbitaceae family, and this is widely growing in Maharashtra, especially in the region of Junnar and the Pune region. Extensively it is growing. In fact, most of the tribal people, they have in their backyard the tree of Albina chebula, and we made use of this fruit, which contains almost more than 15% tannin in that. The dried fruit contains more than 15% tannin, and the tannins are both gallitannin and elagitannin. Ellagic acid as such is not present in a fruit. It is not present in a fruit, but it is present in the form of ellagitannins, and which on hydrolysis gives ellagic acid. Ellagic acid today is another antioxidant which has been used in nutraceutical field, and you get two products from that. One is of course ellagic acid. When you hydrolyze tannin, so the extraction is very simple here in this case. Tannins are highly soluble in water, so the extraction has to be carried out in a water. The reason, not in a solvent or not even boiling water. It has to be carried out in a cold water. The reason, because the myrobalan fruit contains starch, and if you use hot water, starch will get gelatinized, and the filtration would be a major problem associated with that. Thereafter, that is the reason that you should not be using any hot water, but use cold water. And since tannins are highly soluble in the water, it doesn't pose any problem. Once it has been extract of the tannin has been obtained in the water, then of course that tannin need to be hydrolyzed with the help of the acid, mineral acid. On hydrolysis, you get ellagic acid as well as gallic acid, and both of them find their application in the commerce. Ellagic acid, of course, goes as a nutraceutical, whereas gallic acid goes actually in the food industry as antioxidant to be used into a further derivative like propyl gallate, ethyl gallate. Those are the octyl gallate. Those are the gallates which have been prepared, and those are from the pharmacy. They should also be knowing one API called trimethoprim. Trimethoprim, you need gallic acid for the synthesis of the trimethoprim. Okay, so that is the application of gallic acid which has been obtained from Cheblic myrobalan. Next slide, please. Another plant material which we started with a different aim altogether, it was edasterone or the edasteroids. These are the steroids, very unusual steroids. If you look at the steroids, they are having a lot of hydroxy group, and they are more polar compound rather than non-polar compound. Okay, and ecdysis is a phenomena of shedding the skin. Shedding the skin. This is a phenomena which is, in fact, we started this project actually for the sericulture, because in sericulture, silkworm needs ecdysone actually from passing to the instar. It has to pass to the 5 instars. Okay, when the larva has to grow, there are 5 instars, and each instar normally lasts for 3 to 5 days. And during this period, from going to the first instar to the second instar, it has to shade the skin. Then only it can grow in the size. If it doesn't shade the skin, it cannot grow in the size, and with the result, it will not develop further. So this shedding of the skin is been controlled by the hormone called ecdysone. So we started with this work, and after 5th instar, when the larva fully grows, then it starts spraying the cocoon around it. That is what the application of ecdysone. But today ecdysone is found new application in the nutraceutical, and today ecdysone is used more as a muscle building and the body building. Okay, so the ecdysteroids are obtained. In fact, it is Cider cordifolia, that is the plant which contains ecdysone. But we started with altogether new plant called Ipomea hediracea. Next slide, please. Ipomea hediracea. So these are the seeds of the Ipomea, which contains, besides of course it contains resin also, but then it contains high concentration of the ecdysteroids. We had one difficulty during the process of the extraction, that since it was from the seed, we had interference of the lipid from the seed. And company wanted 15% ecdysone in their final extract, which can be used actually for the subsequent application. And we had a difficult time to get the 15% ecdysone. The reason was the oil part of it. But then we employed actually a very simple technique of refrigeration, wherein the lipid got congealed. And with this, we were able to get more than 15% ecdysone in the form of the extract. And today, ecdysone has been used actually as a bodybuilding nutraceutical. Next slide, please. And the plant material, Khelin. Khela is of course not the Indian plant material, it is actually of the Egyptian origin. And this plant contains Khelin, which is actually furanochromone. This is a furanochromone, which is once again extensively used actually for the nutraceutical in that region. Of course, Khela has been not very popular here, but it is used in the Africa. So it has some application like renal colic, kidney stones, so those are applications for which it has been used. Next slide, please. And Khelin is present in Khela, that is the fruit of Amelis nada. Okay, so this is the extraction process. What we started with it was extracted. I'm sorry, there's a mistake here. Actually, it is not the bark; it is the fruit part of it. So the fruit is started with ethanol, and then after it was concentrated. Then whatever the extract we got, it was actually treated with the petroleum a number of times to remove the lipid fraction, and thereafter to separate the furanochrome. Khelin is a furanochromone. Next slide, please. All right, this was the confirmation of Khelin. Next. Well, we developed the method actually for isolation of the Khelin, and with the result, Vicky captured this method, and it was duly put in as a reference into the Wikipedia. Next. Another important case study of the ursolic acid. Ursolic acid traditionally has been obtained from two plants. Either it is obtained from the Tulsi, that is Osmium sanctum, or it is obtained from the Rosemary. They are the two plants which have been used actually for obtaining ursolic acid. Ursolic acid is a pentacyclic triterpenoid. This is a pentacyclic triterpenoid, and ursolic acid, besides being used in the cosmetic, it is also used for the internal application of the internal use. And ursolic acid, as I told you, it is present in the Tulsi as well as in the Rosemary, and both of them are taken internally. However, we found out the different source of called the Nerium oleander. Though this particular plant is considered to be a toxic, but once you separate the ursolic acid, from the toxic constituent is the oleander. Oleander is the toxic constituent, and that constituent present more in the root part of it rather than the leaf part of it. Whereas we use the leaf part of it, which contains almost more than 4% ursolic acid in a leaf. So that was very attractive source actually, rather than Tulsi or for that matter Rosemary, which contains very less percentage of the ursolic acid. Unfortunately, in market, Tulsi extract now is being sold in terms of the ursolic acid content in that. And some people have approached to me that they wanted to supplement or spike the Tulsi extract with the ursolic acid from the other source. So it has gone to that level. Alright, coming back to the ursolic acid. The ursolic acid is a pentacyclic triterpenoid of the ursin type, of the beta alpha marine type, and it is found to be present in the leaf part of it to the extent of 4%. And if you look at the ursolic acid as the carboxylic acid group, we made use of this particular functional group for isolation of it. Extraction, of course, it was done with the common solvent, but isolation, we made use of the carboxylic acid group by reacting with alkali and then separating from the other debris, and then of course regaining the ursolic acid by adding the equivalent amount of the acid to that. Next slide, please. This was the kill scheme which was followed. The leaves were taken, they were dried, actually extracted with the solvent. And since ursolic acid is not soluble into the water, after you concentrate the solvent, put it into the water to precipitate that ursolic acid, and along with the other constituents which are present in that. and later on dissolved into the 2% sodium hydroxide in ethanol, wherein actually the ursolic acid forms salt with that. It remains into the organic layer, and remaining other impurities which are more lipophilic like steroids and all that, that remain insoluble into that. Separate that from that, and then regain the ursolic acid by adding equivalent amount of the acid in that. So that is how the ursolic acid was separated. Today, of course, ursolic acid capsules are already in the market. So ursolic acid is another candidate which has been used in the nutraceutical. Next slide, please. This is just the confirmation of that. Next. All right. Now, this is actually one patent which we filed about the extraction technique. In fact, one nutraceutical product was there, and we had a composition of the herbs. Some of the constituents were hydrophilic and some were lipophilic. So, and we filed a patent. So the query came actually how one particular solvent will be used for, why not other solvent? Because we stated that yes, we are going to use water, ethanol, and the mixture of the combination of the water and the ethanol. And ultimately, we have to prove that yes, water and the alcohol mixture is the one which has been suitable for extracting all the constituents which are present in all the herbs which are incorporated into the formulation, because it was a one extract which was carried out by mixing all the herbs together. Normally, there is a practice in the industry that you either extract the individual drug or combine all the drug and then you extract it. Normally, people prefer to combine all the drug because it saves operation, and we also did the same thing. However, we have to justify that why we use this particular combination. And in that case, we proved this combination by the simple TLC method. So you can see here the first track is standard amygdalin. We have the three different constituents. This is amygdalin, this is hydroxy safflower yellow, and this is beta-azarone. So they are the three constituents. This is coming actually from the Semen persica. This is of course safflower, and this is coming actually from calamus. So they are the three drugs which were there in the plant, in the formulation. So when we did the amygdalin part of it, the first track is extract in the ethanol. Second is the mixture of the ethanol and the water, and the third is the water extract. So if you see the amygdalin is found to be present in, although in water it is less, in mixture of the water and the alcohol it is more. In case of the safflower yellow, alcohol do not show the presence of safflower yellow because it is not soluble in alcohol, whereas it is showing the presence in the water cum alcohol mixture and water as well. Whereas the third beta-azarone, which is more lipophilic, in water it is not been found to be present, but in water and alcohol yes, in alcohol yes. But when the three are mixed together, so definitely now the choice here is actually, you can see in the central tag amongst the three extract always show the presence of both the constituents. So mixture of combination of the water and the alcohol is useful to extract all the constituents which are present in the three different herbs. Next slide please. Well, these are some of the phytoconstituents. I have a long list of the phytochemicals which I have been able to isolate in our laboratory, and we have so far around 60 plus phytochemicals which have been available from our laboratory, and quite a few of them we have been able to take it up actually to the industrial level as well. Next slide please. I'll just give you this 4 plant material which we have been able to take it up to the industrial scale. First was Aloe barbadensis. Now, Aloe barbadensis contains constituent called barbaloin. Barbaloin is anthraquinone glycoside, and it is used, barbaloin or other aloe as such is used actually as a purgative. Whereas what we have done actually, we have separated the aloe part of it. Barbaloin is a glycoside. This is a barbaloin which is glycoside. This is aloe. Aloe is the glycol of the barbaloin. And we developed a process, industrial process actually, for the separation of aloe from the barbaloin without separating barbaloin from the crude extract. So it was an in situ generation of aloe and thereafter separation by the solvent. And today aloe is an important intermediate for the synthetic synthesis of API called diacerin. Diacerin is the only API which is currently used as an anti-arthritic drug, and that is included in Indian pharmacopoeia. And there is no other source to obtain diacerin but to resort to the extraction and isolation of the barbaloin to aloe to rhine, and rhine to diacetylrhine, that is called diacerin. And diacerin is an API today which is useful as an anti-arthritic drug. So this is the one technology. Another technology was, of course, this is a not Indian fruit. It is actually from the Africa, called Tomatococcus daniel, And this particular fruit is called ketampe fruit locally in Africa. And this fruit is having the sweetener which is called thumatin. And thumatin is 2000 times more sweeter than water. Sorry, more sweeter than sugar. Okay? 2000 times. Only problem with this sweetener is that this is a protein sweetener. Protein sweetener, so it is not suitable for hot beverages. It is only suitable for cold beverages and the ice cream, but not suitable for the hot beverages. And with the result, and at the same time it is very expensive. Currently thumatin which is isolated from this is having the rate of around 3.5 lakh rupees per kg. Okay? And being a protein, we had a lot of problem actually for the extraction, because you cannot use any solvent, you cannot use any heat treatment, you cannot use any chemical. It has to be extracted in water. It has to be then, since it was obtained from the fruit, we had a lot of impurities or rather a problem of the mucilage and other carbohydrate which was interfering in the extraction and the separation. But we use the chelating agent for the complex in the carbohydrate and then separating the protein part of it from that. And then of course the compound, the thumatin, is around 21 kg. That means it is having the molecular weight of 21,000. And with the result, thereafter the final separation was by the membrane. We use the 5 kg membrane. So 5 kg membrane, it has passed all the lower molecule and retained actually the larger molecule. And later on we have to undertake the freeze drying, and that is why the process is very expensive, and with the result the price of the thumatin is also very expensive. Another is terminal cebula. We have been able to set up actually the industry for the extraction, the isolation of tannins and other products which includes ellagic acid, gallic acid. These are the products which have been obtained actually from the terminal cebula, and the plant has been set up in a Junar and by the tribal people. So this is the ellagic acid which has been obtained, and we are able to get around 3% ellagic acid from dried cebulic marijuana fruit, which besides seed. Another technology is called as force coli, and that is for the force choline. Though market demands only 10 to 20%, but for the analytical work, what you need actually is 98 to 99%, and we have been able to reach about 98% of the force choline by the extraction, the isolation method. Recently, we also during COVID, Godrej approached to us actually. Of course, nothing to do with the nutraceutical, is more to do with the this is the product actually, henna leaf. Henna is a big product actually for the Godrej, because Godrej is having hair dye as an important product, 5,000 crore sector. And they wanted actually that henna should be improved, the content of the dye should be improved than the natural. Natural content is only 1.5%, that too in the form of the glycoside. So it is not immediately available for dyeing the hair. So they wanted to jack it up to around 20%. We took up this project actually, and today we have a technology by which we can convert henna leaf, natural henna leaf, into a 20% lawson, that is again natural. And we have been able to go right up to the 98%, but they wanted only 20%. So we have prepared 20% lawson content from the henna. And as I told you, it is not present in the free body. Lawson is a naphthaquinone. Naphthaquinones are the one which are normally been found to be soluble in the alkali. We made use of the alkali, of course mild alkali, and later on of course it was extracted in the solvent, and then of course it was subsequently treated with other constituent. I will not be able to reveal to you, but yes, those are the constituents. Eventually we were able to get more than 20% lawson content for their hair dye. So this was about the henna jacked up the content of the lawson to 20%. Next slide please. Well, these are some of the monographs. These are the monographs, quality standards of the Indian medicinal plants published by the ICMR, and we have been, as a center, ICT, we have been able to contribute around 60 monographs, which have been duly covered in this monograph. Next slide please. These are some of the nutraceutical products which we have been able to come out. You can go to the website called Erlang, and we have come out right now with the 4 products: Rekindle for men, Rekindle for women, and Replenish. These two are gummies, these two are chocolate. They are addressing the problem. Men, the one which has been meant for the men is for the energy. For the women is for the addressing the estrogenic problem. And Replenish and the Replenish green and the Replenish phyto is for the something which you are not getting in your regular diet, to compensate that. So these are the 2 gummies. Now we are coming out with one more nutraceutical product for the sleep insomnia. That is I don't know how many of you know the melatonin. Melatonin is the one actually which has been released when you fall asleep. Okay, and we are coming out with a natural melatonin content which is normally been found to be present in a plant called walnut. Juglans nigra. Juglans nigra contains more of the melatonin in that as compared to the Juglans regia. Okay, so those are the nutraceutical products. Well, these are some of the cosmetic products, and of course, aloe best and aloe vera we have been able to set up under CSR for the Pidilite, and this particular project actually is in Bhavnagar. Next slide, please. That's it about the nutraceutical. More and more drug, more and more plant materials will be in future will be covered as a nutraceutical rather than drug, because nutraceuticals finds is easier way and its acceptability is much more easier as compared to the drug. And with the result, in future, more Ayurvedic drug will be crossing it over as a nutraceutical rather than Ayurvedic drug. Thank you very much.